This is part two. I did part one. Yesterday is in my live videos. This is part two of Simone with her story with Waka Flocka and Chief Keef. Here she tells about how Tammy Rivera, Waka Flocka ex-wife, because I believe they got a divorce now, but Tammy had called her and asked her, did she have sex with Waka Flocka? And she's finna go into what happened. And she also talks about Chief Keef. I kind of feel sorry for Tammy. Tammy Rivera, she was going very hard for Waka Flocka. She was going hard for that man. And then in the end, she find out that he was cheating on her all that time. She started hearing about the women and start hearing that the stories that she was hearing was true. So here's Simone telling her story.
The Shade Room posted me and Waka together. Of course, I'm getting nothing but but I'm also getting phone calls from Keith, and I not. This is what reminded me of Gorgeous Doll's story when she said Future texted her and he was happy. And I still have the text messages. Keith was like, and I'm like, me and him were kind of beefing because I kept hearing stories about he was flying in and out of LA when me and him was together. So it's like, in one hand, I didn't even, because me and him was like, but at the same time, right after that, I just found out I was pregnant. So I didn't want no parts. And I mean, right after, as in like probably 3 weeks later, I had just found out that I was pregnant. And I had just posted my pregnancy to Keith. So I didn't really want no parts of the whole Waka situation. I didn't want anyone to get confused with who my baby daddy was. I didn't want anybody to get confused, with at the end of the day, like I did my thing and now I'm back home. So it had been a couple of hours after, maybe even like a day or so after I had posted a picture of me and Waka. I got a call from Waka's brother. And Waka's brother is like, hey, I need you to delete the post of me and Waka because like it's on the shade room. His wife found out and it just looks crazy, like he's married. So like, do you mind just deleting the picture? All right, bet. I delete the picture. Because at the end of the day, I don't, it's just a picture, like whatever. So right after he calls, I get a call from Tammy. And she's like, hey, I just want to know like what's going on with you and Waka, like what happened and why are you posting pictures of him on your story. So at the time I didn't want no smoke. Like not gonna lie. I didn't want no smoke. I just found out I was pregnant, like I keep saying. And so I lied. And I was like, I know, we never around and like that. Like I'm pregnant with you, Keith. Like I'll delete the pictures. It's no big deal. Like I don't even want this being a story. Like I just want to move on from the situation altogether. And she's like trying to check me, because like why would you kiss him on the cheek or whatever? Like if you knew he was married. And I was like, girl, I didn't know he was married. I don't even really want to know. But I didn't say all that. I just trying to keep the peace because I was pregnant. And if you know me, you know that I have a high risk for marriages. I ended up having six, and I just was like, whatever to keep the peace. I know you're right. Cool. Let's move on. I feel like that Walker situation was behind me. So I all of a sudden get on the shade room, of course, and I see that Slim Danger posted a picture of her and Waka. And they were at the airport. And she like posted some outrageous caption that was like, yeah, Tammy, extreme crazy. And so there's this whole thing, because at this point we're both known for being Chief Keef's baby mama. So every time Slim Dave would post something and or go viral, they kind of never really said her name, and if they did, they would always get us confused. Anyway, she ends up going viral, whatever. So Tammy goes on to the radio station. They bring up the Waka situation, and they were like, "Oh, I heard that like he's with Cheif Keef's baby mama." And she says, "No, it wasn't Slim Danger." She said, "But I want to address the other talking about me." So I'm like, "Bring me up." So she goes on to say how she was like, "Yeah, I got some tea on the other one that's pregnant by him." Yeah, she never.
It's entertainment. It is.
Yeah, it's real entertainment that it's going around on all the blog sites. So tell me what's going on with this.
Well, it's sad because it's like you can't even take pictures no more with people because everybody has a motive. You know what I'm saying? So he was in an airport and this girl, she's like, "Oh, why can I take a picture?" So he took a picture with her. And then, that was that. But then she went in his DMs and was like, "Let's make a movie. Can you go and like my picture? Can you follow me back? Here's my number. Can you call me? I'm the girl that took a picture with you in the airport." And he, pretty much just like ignored the whole situation, shut it down. And then once she posted a picture like a few days ago,
Pregnant, clearly, like you can see in her picture, and I don't want to give her name out, but she's pregnant by Cheif Keef. And then I had to ask another rumor that's going around. Waka was messing with another one of Cheif Keef's baby mama. So I'm like, what is going on, like with these chicks?
and with the other baby mama, it's so crazy because he was in Arizona and this girl, like while he was performing, she's all up in his face and this and the third. And I got text messages from her too, from on his brother's phone. Quam, Quam,
Yeah.
where she was smashing his brother. So I just haven't exposed her yet because she just wants to be, sympathetic.
Waka thing.
If y'all see his brother, you guys will know. Like I never brother, and so now when I hear, I just want to be like, I didn't want to be like in the mix of no other. So at this point, I'm like, I go to my Instagram and I'll be like real, like I'm real messy. So I ended up posting a meme that was like, I didn't, nah, April Fool's. So it just so happened to be like the perfect little thing that'll get her going. Why you go on the radio station and name and then try to lie on me other? Like never. That's never what happened. And babes, you don't have no tea on me. So I don't know from that, because if you want or and that's what it is. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like that was my mentality back in the day. Like now I don't know what I would do now, but I can only hope that I would take the mature route. And if I find the clip, I will insert the clip. Like, trust me, like I have all my receipts, so I will insert the clips, babes. Okay, so somewhere in between when me and Waka ended up hooking up, me and Tammy getting into it, me just now finding out that I was pregnant, me trying to make my relationship work with Cheif Keef, like it was just so many moving parts at once. And somewhere in between that, I ended up getting into when Cheif Keef flew out. Okay, so at this point, this is probably the second girl that has now entered the chat that was getting flown out and like actively dating Cheif Keef when I was dating him. So there's this girl called Ebony, and I remember one weekend she flew me out like he did every single weekend, and I was getting like more further and further along, and he flies me out, and this time was a little different. He was like, "I'm gonna put you up in a hotel room because my homeboys are here, like we're shooting a music video and it's a lot, and I just don't want you being in." So immediately I'm thinking there's always, and I'm in the room to myself. Like I knew most of his homeboys at this point, but it was like I'm always just in your room, and I know you're not shooting in your room, but I don't say nothing. I let him put me up in a hotel room, and he's like, "I'm gonna be there later on tonight." As I'm in the room, I'm telling him like I'm about to go out with my girls. At this point, I was like so skinny that I wasn't even showing. Like I was getting further along, but I wasn't even showing at all. Like I was like, "I'm gonna go out with some friends," and he was like, you're not. He's like, if you go out, you're not coming home tonight. So I was like, I'm gonna stay put. So I'm in the hotel room, I'm eating my little food, I'm just like hanging out. And the whole time I'm texting him and I was like, when do you want me to come? He was like, babe, we're almost done. What I'll probably end up doing is coming to the hotel room to see you, or I'm gonna go grab you myself and we're gonna come back to my house together. I'm like, whatever. So as I'm sitting in the hotel room, I'm getting sent messages from people on Snapchat and Instagram that there's an at Cheif's house. And name is Ebony. So I'm not gonna go. Me and her ended up being like really cool, and I ended up moving to Miami, and me and her ended up hanging out and like becoming friends. But at the time, it was like, so they're sending me videos and pictures of this girl's stuff, and I don't do anything. I just kind of sit there, and I'm just like, well, another one bites the dust because I'm already pregnant by this man, so I'm not going to trip. And I think I'm just so desensitized by cheating when it deals with athletes and rappers. Mind you, I already told you guys that he was not my first rapper, and I was already somewhat used to that lifestyle of men having rotated out. But as long as I was okay with it, like I was getting posted on his page. I was the main one that was like on Shade Room getting like all the, popularity from dealing with him. That, yeah, it was kind of like, there's no way you had me in a hotel room pregnant with your baby. I did truly believe that he was doing a video shoot and there was a lot of people over at the house. And he's like, I just don't want you and the baby to, deal with all of this. Like, I'm going to put you in a room and you just be comfortable. Until I got to his house. So I go to Keef's house, like I always do. And I post myself at his house. And so I end up getting a message from the girl. And her name is Ebony. And she's like, hey, babes. She's probably the coolest girl I've ever encountered dealing with him. Like, me and her ended up becoming friends. I moved to Miami where she lived, and me and her hung out all the time. We escaped the hurricane together, and we went to her family's house in Atlanta. Like, she actually was no problem with her because she never came to me with a problem. Like, she would just, so whatever, I'm here for it. So long story short, she ended up messaging me and she was like, hey babes, I just want to let you know that I was just at Cheif's house. I just left to go fly back to Miami, and people are sending me your stories, and you're there with him right now, and you're pregnant, and I want to let you know the real truth. Like, he's claiming that's not his baby, and that he don't know you. And she's like, I know it's a lie. Like, I went through his phone, I know it's a lie. So I just want to tell you that it's like, yeah, I really was just there. This is my first time linking with him since, you got pregnant, and I saw for myself that that's his baby, and you were there. So she was like, can you go check in the bathroom? I left my toothbrush in his bathroom. I'm like, well, hold up, babes. Let me go to the bathroom and check to see it. I said, what your toothbrush looks like, babes. She's like, I have a green and purple toothbrush, and it actually has my name on the side of it. I go to his bathroom, and her toothbrush is indeed there. So I don't say anything to him. I think at this point, like, me and her are just conversing, and we're getting so much information because, like, when I finally do tell him, I want to let him know. I know everything that you've been doing. Later on that night, he gets into the bed. We're laying there. And I ask him, Ebony. He's like, I have no clue. So good! So good, and then like so dumb at the same time. He said, babes, I have no clue who Ebony is. So I'm showing him our text messages, the pictures that she's sending me, like they are taking like real couples pictures together. Old. I have no clue who that is. That's old. She ain't been here. He don't know that like I'd already kind of like looked at her toothbrush. Her toothbrush was there, and like whatever. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we end up going to sleep. In the middle of the night, his phone's going off, and I check his phone because why not? And he don't have her number saved, so I'll probably be able to insert some pictures of I took a screenshot of his phone with my phone, just so I can have all the evidence that I need. And she's like, liar, you told me you ain't a, you told me that wasn't your baby. And like, I spoke to her and I see that she's there. Like at this point, she had probably FaceTimed me, and I'm just like, yes, babe, like I'm here in his house. Like this is real life. I know you. So she's sending him all these messages, and I don't say anything. I just grab his phone, I take pictures of the messages, and then like whatever, I go back. So that time that I was there, I ended up, if you guys remember me back in the day, I ended up dressing up in like this really cute lingerie when I was pregnant, and I had like some furry red handcuffs. So I ended up handcuffing him. I ended up handcuffing his hand to my hand, and he takes a picture of that, and he makes it his profile picture. Like he posted on his stories, and then he like makes it his profile picture.
So she's showing the picture.
And then of course he gets in the shade room. So now like his other are actively seeing that he's in a relationship with me, and like I'm here at their house. So now I'm gonna tell y'all the story of how his other baby mama, who was pregnant at the same time, how she ended up pulling up.
So she gonna have part 3 later. So I'll be uploading part 3 tomorrow. But I'm finna find something and play it. I'll be right back, y'all. Tune back in.